Okay, so mastering detachment will get you everything you want in your life, and not just matter of getting, it will make everything chase towards you. Whatever goals you want, whatever people you want, or whatever relations you are trying to protect are just slipping out of your hand. And maybe the reason behind all of these things, that why we are losing onto everything we have or everything we want to have, is the reason of our attachment. When you're getting so attached to some of your things, some of those particular dreams of your life, or some of those people in your life, that you try to protect them. You try to be so much attentive towards them. You try to be so much polite to them, and you try to just protect them. Just keep them to yourself. But suddenly, for no reason, they just slip out of your hands. And the reason behind that is your attachment towards people, towards some materialistic things, towards your dreams, and towards your goals. Now, the reason why detachment is necessary is because it sort of removes that control of power that you have given to someone else or something. What I'm trying to say is, for example, consider this layer is your attachment. The correct way an attachment should be in your life is you are here, and so you define yourself. Whatever you are, you know yourself, and the other things around you are your attachments. And definitely, this should be the idealistic human structure. Okay, that you know who you are and your attachments do not define you at all. So if tomorrow your attachments doesn't get fulfilled, whatever your goals were, whatever your dream girl was, doesn't just rejects you. Okay, and so your attachment is broken. But guess what, you are still as the person you were. And that's why this should be the idealistic human structure: you and attachment around you. Even if your attachment goes, that doesn't change you, that doesn't do anything to you. And even if your attachments are fulfilled, that doesn't do anything to you. So whether your attachment goes away or gets even bigger in your life, for example, you wanted a Bugatti, so if you get nothing, or maybe you get a Honda Civic, you are still good. Or if you get two Bugattis, you are still good. You understand? No greed, no losses. Here, this is your ideal human structure, as I said. This is the way you should be. But guess what? How are we? We are like this. You are around, and your attachment becomes whatever you need in life. So, what happens is your entire emotional state, whatever you think you are, whatever you behave like, whatever your reactions or reflexes to day to day activities depends on your attachment. So, for example, I love this person, okay? And so I will do anything to kind of attract this person towards me. So what I'll do is I won't cry in front of him, I won't laugh in front of him, I would act in a certain way, I'll get this script together how I have to act in front of her. And what happens is that sort of becomes you, and your you gets side away. So what I'm trying to mean is whatever you do in your day-to-day activities, whatever you are doing depends on something else, depends on your attachments. And that's why at the end of the day, if I take your attachment away from you, or somehow that girl rejects you, or somehow you're not able to achieve that goal, or someday you're not able to crack that exam or interview, your inner self, what you were, gets disappeared. So from core, you get empty, and your surrounding is you, which is just the outer shell. But here, as we discussed, for example, you are not able to crack that interview. Or if you are cracking an interview for a normal interview, you directly get a CEO position, that doesn't affect you. And that's the biggest thing in life, that detachment is necessary. And the reason why detachment is necessary is because we live in a practical world, and this doesn't go idealistically. So if you are detached, okay, if you are detached from the things, what it does, it increases the scope of probability. And what does increasing the scope of probability means is this world is probability based. You can either go higher than what you were achieving. So, for example, as I said, you are trying to achieve a Bugatti, you get two Bugattis, or sometimes you won't even get a Honda Civic. But guess what? What detachment does is it sort of increases your responsibilities and kind of make you aware of the probability. So, if you are detached from the things, you don't care about what happens. You just care about what you have to work for. What's your next day? Okay, this goal is in certain mind, and I'm not saying that attachments, whether it be materialistic, whether it be towards people, whether it be towards money, or whatever you XYZ you think you want in your life, whether it be confidence, happiness, whatever you want in your life, it's not the bad thing that you have an attachment. It's the bad thing that you make your attachment your life. instead of making it an outer shell. Yeah, every human has some attachments, and I'm not saying you to be detached in such a way that you have to go in mountains and stay like a monk, you have to detach from this world. I'm not saying that. The true warriors are the one who fight the war, not leave the war. Okay, so if you go through the cycle of life, the way I'm trying you to say is to get detached is to understand the probability of life. Sometimes the things you are attached to you will eventually slip out of your hands, and sometimes the things you want in your life will be doubled in your life. So God always decides the correct thing, and sometimes if the things aren't correct for you, He will take it away to keep you happy in the longer run. But what we humans do is we get our attachment so high that if a person leaves, we leave ourselves. So if a person was so attached to you and you were so attached to that person, for example, I am attached to this person mentally, emotionally, physically, and if that person goes away, I am lacking that mental, emotional, and physical connection with my own self. So I'm empty. I'm depressed. My growth is stuck. And what detachment does is it increases the scope of growth in your life. Anyways, a growth is a growth. Okay, when you're detached from things, you are not getting hurt by things leaving you. You are learning that, oh, I don't have to deal with this kind of people next time. I don't have to keep these unrealistic goals next time. I don't have to, work these less things. I have to work for these bigger things. You will try to learn new things that will make you eventually grow. And remember, the true detachment is not to stay like a monk and, as I said, not to, leave everything. It's about having attachment but also realizing that your attachment don't define you. Okay, don't try to connect everything you have in your life to someone else, to some things, because things can go, people can die. But remember, if you are not attached to everything doesn't mean that you have to be emotionally broken down from everything. What I'm trying to say is be attached to your parents, but eventually realize this thing that someday some people you love from true bottom of your heart will some days leave you, whether it be towards going to heaven, whether it be dying, whether it be just going away from your life. Okay, and that makes you heartbroken, and I understand as a human sometimes things affect you, but remember, you don't have to forget yourself for someone. Your own life matters too. And understand that I'm not trying here to say that self-love and this and that shit. It's important a bit to care about yourself, to have that self-respect, to consider yourself ahead sometimes. And I'm not trying you to be egoistic. I'm not saying go and turn everyone down and be the guy you want to be. I'm saying that create connections, get attached to someone, but don't get your heart broken down to the point that you become suicidal. Okay, be clear in your head, be very understanding about the things and people you are desiring for, and also be very understanding that the probability of life is really amazing factor that will always be included, that we usually forget this factor. But guess what, this is the most important factor in our life. Things happen just like you never even expected. Things come into your life, and what this detachment does is it creates some curiosity gaps in your head. One, sometimes it also brings some opportunities to you that you never even expected from your life. Okay, and sometimes it's just takes away those people who are not good for you. So really, I'm not trying to mean that you have to be emotionally broken person and you don't have to believe in anyone. I'm saying believe in someone, but only believe to the point that doesn't affect you. When you try to be blindly, okay, when you try to be like literally one of those guys like who blindly believe into someone or just blindly follow someone, they'll get your heart broken like this. Okay, because it just takes this to break your belief, and once your broken belief is attached to your entire emotional state, your emotional state also gets broken down like this, and then you are an empty person like this. So it just happens like this. And remember, don't draw some things that you have in your hand to some other humans. I'll explain this deeper into some other video, but what I'm trying to say is don't connect all of your, what do I say, all of your things that you don't have in your life. So, for example, I don't have love in my life. So, don't create a person. So, for example, I like this girl, okay, and I don't have love in my life. So, I will start to see love in her. I'll start to see all those things that I lack in her. So don't create an idealistic person inside your head, because people are of somewhat free will. She can do whatever she wants. And so if you connect all of those you're mentally triggering things to her, that doesn't mean that she has to be equalizing to your thoughts. I don't want to go deep into this, but there's this thing I want to say, that don't attach all of your emotions that you don't have to a person, that suddenly that person will come in your life and fulfill all of those emotion gaps. Okay, that's what I want to say. Be detached from people. Don't be emotionally broken from people. Okay, keep care of yourself, keep care of your parents, stay safe. Don't get in trouble into you, don't get in trouble into your parents. Stay safe, make them feel safe, make those people safe feel around you, and that's it. Remember, as I said, detachments are good. I'm not saying you to be emotionally disconnected, I'm saying you to be emotionally conscious and not emotionally more vulnerable how you were yesterday. I hope this video changed something in you, and I really hope that you'll start to see everything very with a very positive attitude and with a bit of sense, with a bit of consciousness. That's all I wanted to say. And remember, people living you is a part of life, people coming into your life is a part of life. So be welcoming and be accepting that, yeah, people can go, and be gratituding to coming new people in your life. Okay, so that's it. That's what I wanted to say. Stay safe, pray to God, don't trouble your mother, and bye bye. Jai Jai.